Today's lesson is from Deuteronomy chapter 5, verses 1 through 21, and Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 through 9. Hear, Israel, the decrees and the law that I declare in your hearing today. Learn them and be sure to follow them. The Lord our God made a covenant with us at Horeb. It was not that our ancestors that the Lord made this covenant, but with us, with all of us who are alive today. The Lord spoke to you face to face out of the fire on the mountain. At that time I stood between the Lord and you and declared to you the word of the Lord, because you were afraid of the fire and did not go up to the mountain. And he said, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above, or on earth beneath, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sins of the parents to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing love to thousands generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. Observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy, as the Lord your God has commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all of your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son or daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your ox, nor your donkey, or any of your animals, nor any foreigner residing in your towns, so that your male and female servants may rest as you do. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt, and that the Lord your God brought you out of there with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore the Lord your God has commanded you to observe the Sabbath day. Honor your father and mother, as the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live long and that it may go well with you in the land the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. You shall not set your desire on your neighbor's house or land, his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. These commandments I give today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road and when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates. The word of the Lord.
The Holy Gospel according to Mark, the 12th chapter.
Glory to you, O Lord.
One of the teachers of the law came and heard them debating. Noticing that Jesus had given them a good answer, he asked him, of all the commandments, which is the most important? The most important one, answered Jesus, is this. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
You may be seated. Why do ghosts not make good sports fans?
I don't know why.
Because all they say is, boo! All right. Ghost. Halloween. It's Halloween. Everybody thought I said goats, huh? Ghosts. Ghosts. All right. So 10 Commandments. We went through all the 10 Commandments a while back. and talked about all of them. And you know, we know what they are, basically. Most of us know all of them. Some of us know them in order. I'm not one who remembers them in order. But we're really, really good about noticing the last 6. I think that those are the ones that we get impressed upon our hearts as children. You know, honor your mother and father. Do this. And then the do nots. We really impress the do nots on our kids, don't we? Don't murder. Please don't kill anybody. I tell Tina, you do not look good in an orange jumpsuit. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Don't lie about your neighbor. Don't covet. Don't desire what they want, they have. Be content. And those are the ones that we tend to incorporate even into our laws, don't we? These are the ones that we know, we understand. And when we see somebody not doing them, it's easy to point it out. That one over there. I pointed in the corner, not at you. That one over there. What about the first 4, though? Those are a little bit more challenging, I think. Those are ones that we tend to say, well, yeah, I know I should. These are the ones about our own spirituality. Now, you got to understand, these are not given to us because God wants to control us or because God wants to be mean. These are given to us for our own health, for our own good. And if we would follow them, we might be a healthier nation. You shall have no other gods before me. Name some of our other gods. Can you? Money. Electronics. Don't tell Joe that. What are some of our other gods? Material things. My own comfort. I like to be comfortable. I admit it. My own comfort. How about sports? Do we ever put sports before God? Come on, watch that sermon time. We've got a football game. We do it. Oh man, I've got to do a service this afternoon and NASCAR's running. I'm guilty too. Do we not put all sorts of things before God? Do not make yourselves an image in the form of anything and worship it. I tend to think about celebrities when I hear that. Some of our kids, well, most of our kids could name off more of the celebrities on TV than they could tell you who the 12 disciples were. It is sad. It is sad. I agree.
And the false glamour that the celebrities have, the way they look.
Hollywood glamour in itself. And talk about image. Look at the models, what they do to us. Instead of being content and thankful for the image that God has made us in, we're constantly trying to have surgery or starve ourselves or I don't know, all of those things. Misuse of God's name. Okay, now we're really good at saying you shouldn't swear. You're using God's name in vain. But what about when we blame God? Is that not misusing his name? God punished them by sending the tsunami. God punished them by that earthquake. Is that not misusing his name? What about when we want to do something and we say, well, that's what God would want me to do. Never mind that we didn't pray. We didn't talk about it with anybody else. We didn't spend time in the Bible. But that's what God would want me to do, so I'm going to do it, and you can't stop me. We do those things. And I'm not even talking about the extremists here. I'm not talking about the jihads and all of that. I'm talking about everyday life here. How can we say that's what God would want us to do if we haven't stopped to say, God, is this what you want us to do? And then listened? Oh, listening. That comes to the next one. Sabbath day. Now, when I hear Sabbath day, I think about all the rules. I don't know about you, but I guess that's just what I've heard over the years with all the movies and things like that. All the rules. But what is Sabbath? What is the Sabbath day? What did God intend? Rest. I'm sorry? In Him. Rest in Him. Anyone else? What did God intend with Sabbath?
It's a day for us to contemplate
Contemplate.
and kind of review what has transpired in your life during maybe the preceding week, perhaps what's coming ahead, and just give yourself a chance to slow down and listen
Listen.
to whether or not you're reviewing and your thoughts about whether or not it seems right or fitting, what your actions were, or what they're going to be. That's what I do on Sunday.
Does that include grocery shopping? Does that include going to the mall? Does that include, well, I'll say it, watching NASCAR? I mean, I'm not going to point fingers at you without pointing them back at me. I remember my grandfather coming in, and he was really extreme about it. You didn't even get the deck of cards out on the Sabbath. It should be quiet time. It should be family time. It should be time when we look to each other to just be quiet. To not worry about all the stuff that's going on around us anymore. Yes, we have to work. And Sabbath does not mean it has to be Sunday. I got to stress that. My Sabbath is Monday. Sabbath does not have to be Sunday because some of us have to work on Sunday. Sabbath is not about what day of the week it is. It's about where the heart is. It's about where your thoughts are. It's about whether you're actually loving the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. For one day. You know, God gave us the time. God gives us the breath. I hear many of you say to me, well, I'm doing wonderful. I got out of bed this morning. God gave me another day. Yeah, God gave you another day. Don't forget where you got that day. I'm going to do something that many of you aren't going to like. I'm going to sit down and be quiet. I have a clock up here. I'm going to take 3 or 4 minutes of silence. And I'm going to ask you to be silent on this Sabbath day before God for just a few minutes. Amen. Was it that hard? Some of us it was, and some of us we just really just relished that moment, didn't we? But it feels good just to be silent. Shut the mind down as best we can. And just hear God. Mother Teresa, when she was talking about prayer, somebody asked her, what do you say to God when you pray? And she says, I listen. I just listen. And then they said, so what does God say to you when you pray? And she says, he listens. He just listens.